What exactly does equality between the sexes mean? There are many different responses to this question, and the answer is often disputed. It varies from whether women should be able to fight in combat, differences in pay, maternal leave, abortions, and many years ago, the woman's right to vote. In the United States, the fight for equal rights and the ramifications of the Equal Rights Amendment, also known as the ERA, has been in the works for many years. However, in 1923, the Equal Rights Act was proposed to write equality into the law. The act was written and introduced by National Woman's Party members Alice Paul and Crystal Eastman. While there were many feminists that wanted the ERA, there were some who also called themselves feminists who did not want to lose their protections in the workplace, such as limited hours and the ability to refrain from heavy lifting. One of the main reasons for the ERA was to get rid of sex-based discrimination in the law. This regards employment, education, social security, pensions, insurance, and healthcare. The ERA has been sponsored and introduced to Congress a few hundred times, which is more than any other amendment in the United States history. The first time that this act was voted on was in 1946, and the first time that it received the two-thirds majority was in 1953. This was passed with the Hayden-Ryder Act, which allowed women to keep some of their special protections. However, when the president asked Congress to approve the amendment with the added rider, the National Woman's Party withdrew the ERA, as they did not want there to be added protection for women, for this defeated the purpose of the Equal Rights Act. In the late 60s, after the amendment had still not passed, Betty Friedan published her book, The Feminine Mystique, which helped the women's movement make great strides and also helped it to gain publicity. The book expressed the annoyance with a woman's social and economic status in the United States. While 38% of women were employed, they were limited to jobs as teachers, nurses, and secretaries. This book brought to light that the status of women had not changed under the law, while there had been many movements that attempted to change that. A group of activists formed NOW, the National Organization for Women. In February of 1970, NOW picketed a Senate meeting, demanding to meet with senators to hold a hearing about the ERA. Later that year, in August, 2,000 women all over the United States held strikes in order to bring to light areas in women's life that needed to be addressed. The feminist movement was aimed towards dismantling workplace inequality, such as pay discrepancies and sex discrimination. They would also hold speak-outs where women would discuss things such as abortions, illegal abortions, and how, regardless of the law, these things would be apparent in society. While all of this was going on, there were still many who were opposed to these new ideas that went against the traditional roles of men and women. Most of these people were conservative and were also against gay rights as well as abortion rights. While the act was not put into place, by the late 70s, gender discrimination was outlawed in college sports as well as education. Abortion and birth control were also legalized. By this point, women's organizations had also set up rape crisis centers, women's shelters, and health clinics that were integrated into the local communities. While the Equal Rights Amendment was never passed, women still made very big changes that have impacted the United States for how we know it today.